Tetris is out on Apple TV Plus, new film starring Taron Egerton, based on a true story, although with a couple of more or less obvious embellishments. The story of one of the most popular video games of all time, Tetris. The film starts with an about 10-minute exposition dump scene where Egerton's character, Dutch entrepreneur, raised in America and now, or rather in 1988, which is when the movie takes place, living in Tokyo, Henk Rogers explains to a banker the story thus far. He introduces us to what Tetris is, who wrote the game, what is the situation with the distribution rights on various platforms and in various countries, and who are the other players interested in it. He then explains he wants to get in business with Nintendo to release the game on their consoles in Japan. And up until this point, the movie seems sort of disappointing because it's just all dialogue, nothing is really shown to us, and it seems like it's going to be pretty boring. But then things quickly start for real, because Rogers' rights to release the game in Japan are reverted, and also a handheld device called Game Boy is being developed, so suddenly the handheld rights are an item as well. So Hank decides he'll actually go to the source, the Soviet engineer who wrote the game. He intends to travel to Moscow, find this man and his company, and negotiate directly with them. Everyone tells him, no, you cannot do this. The Soviet Union is still behind the Iron Curtain and they'll just arrest an American businessman that goes there. But of course he says, fuck it, fortune favors the bold, I'm gonna go anyway. And this really kickstarts the plot of the film, which becomes a very, very traditional story of a likable underdog trying to win against his more powerful, more wealthy, more unethical, and definitely more asshole-ish rivals. There's a British billionaire in the mix, together with his asshole son. There's a German businessman. There's a Russian politician who wants to get a piece of the cake for himself. And you know what? It works because this fundamental skeleton of the story is well made. The plot is interesting. Taron Egerton is very charismatic. The movie is well paced. It's kind of funny at points. It made me like the film. It made me get invested in it and also disregard its shortcomings, because let's be fair, it's far from perfect. There are moments when the mechanics of the plot and what's going on with each deal are not really explained very clearly, and I was getting lost in all the details. There are some strange editing choices here and there. There are moments which are clearly made up for dramatic effect, like the car chase sequence towards the end, which is just outrageous. But through it all, you want to see Hank succeed, you want to see him win, and you want to see those other guys lose. And that's the main thing that matters. It keeps the movie going, and it allowed me to look past all those imperfections and just enjoy the movie for the fun ride that it was. Also, points from me for accuracy in portraying the communist Russia. As far as I know from history and from what older people used to say about a similar political system over here in Poland, the movie nails the details and doesn't really misrepresent the reality of how it all was. And also the film uses pretty much only Russian actors for the Russian characters, which also helps, especially with the language and the accents, which are pretty much true to life. So all in all, pretty enjoyable ride that manages to be equally engaging regardless of if you care about Tetris at all in the first place or not. The story is cool, the performances are good, it's a solid film.